Hello, everyone, and welcome to English in Fluency. My name is Alex, and I am so glad you have chosen to practice your English listening skills with us today. How are you feeling right now? Are you comfortable? Are you ready to learn? Sometimes, starting something new, even just listening to a long video in English, can feel a little bit difficult. Maybe you feel a little nervous. You might worry, will I understand everything? Is my English good enough? This feeling is very normal. It is a small kind of fear. Today, we are going to talk about a much bigger kind of fear. We are going to explore this topic. Don't let fear control you, and how we can learn to face challenges with confidence. What is the first thing you think of when you hear the word challenge? Does it make you excited? Or does it make your stomach feel a little bit tight? A little uncomfortable? For many of us, a new challenge brings a partner. That partner is fear. Fear is a very strong emotion. It is an emotion that is designed to protect us, to keep us safe. When you see something dangerous, like a car driving very fast towards you, fear tells you to move. That is good fear. But what about the other kinds of fear? What about the fear of speaking in public? The fear of making a mistake at work? The fear of meeting new people? This kind of fear is different. It does not protect us from physical danger. Instead, it often stops us from growing, from learning, and from being truly happy and successful. Today, we are going to follow the story of a man named Ethan. Ethan is a good person. He is smart. He works hard. But Ethan has a problem. He lets his fear control him. As we listen to Ethan's story, we will do more than just practice listening. We will learn new words, new B1 level vocabulary that you can use in your own life. We will stop and think about the story. I will ask you questions to make sure you are understanding everything, and we will practice pronunciation together. This is not just a story. This is your English lesson. We will see how Ethan learns to stop his fear from being the boss of him, and maybe, just maybe, we can learn how to do that too. So, take a deep breath. Relax. Let's begin. Our story begins on a Wednesday morning. It was a normal Wednesday, just like any other. Ethan was sitting at his desk in his office. His office was on the 5th floor of a tall building. He could see the city outside his window, but he was not looking at the view. He was looking at his computer screen. His coffee was getting cold in a blue mug next to his keyboard. He had not touched it. Ethan was feeling something very strong. He was feeling anxious. Anxious is a word we use when we feel worried and nervous about something. It's like a mix of fear and worry. You might feel anxious before a big test, or before a visit to the dentist. Ethan was staring at an email. This email was the source of his anxiety. The email was from his boss, Mr. Davies. The subject line of the email was simple. It just said, "New project opportunity." That word, opportunity, should be a good word, right? An opportunity is a chance to do something good, a chance to get something better. For example, a new job is an opportunity. A chance to travel is an opportunity. But for Ethan, this word did not feel good. He felt a sense of dread. Dread is a feeling of great fear about something that is going to happen. It is a very heavy, very cold feeling. Why did Ethan feel dread about an opportunity? He clicked the email to open it. His hand was shaking just a little bit. The email was short. It said, "Ethan, I want you to lead the new marketing presentation for the Kilo account. This is our biggest client. We need to show them our new ideas for next year. The presentation is in 2 weeks. I want you to present it to the client and to our entire executive team. This is a big chance for you. Let's talk tomorrow. Ethan read the email once. Then he read it again. And a third time. His heart started to beat very fast. It felt like a drum inside his chest. Thump, thump, thump. This is what we sometimes call butterflies in the stomach. But for Ethan, it felt more like large, heavy birds. He was not thinking, "Wow, what a great opportunity." He was not thinking, "This is my chance to show everyone what I can do." No, Ethan's mind was full of other thoughts. His inner voice, the voice inside his head, was speaking very loudly. And this is what it said. 2 weeks? The executive team? The client? I can't do this. I am terrible at presentations. What if I make a mistake? What if they ask me a question and I don't know the answer? What if I forget my words? I will look like a fool. I will look stupid. Mr. Davies made a mistake. He chose the wrong person. I am going to fail. This, right here, is the problem. This is fear talking. Fear was controlling Ethan's thoughts. It was telling him all the bad things that could happen, not the good things. This is what fear does. It makes us focus on the negative. To focus on something means to give all your attention to it. Ethan was focusing only on the possibility of failure. He was not focusing on the possibility of success. He was paralyzed by this fear. Paralyzed is a strong word. It can mean that your body cannot move, but we also use it to mean that you are so scared or so worried that you cannot think or act. Ethan was paralyzed. He just sat at his desk, staring at the email. Now, let's pause here. This is our first chance to practice. I use the word anxious. Can you say it? Anxious. It means feeling worried and nervous. Let's make a sentence with it. Ethan felt anxious about the email. Now, I want you to think, what makes you feel anxious? Maybe it's speaking English. That's okay. It's normal. Let's try another word. Dread. Say it with me. Dread. He felt a sense of dread. Think about Ethan. Why did he feel dread? Was it because the project was boring? Or was it because he was afraid of presenting it? Yes, he was afraid of presenting. He was afraid of failing. So what did Ethan do? Did he stand up and say, "I can do this"? Did he start planning his presentation? No. He did what many of us do when we are scared. He avoided it. To avoid something means to stay away from it. He closed the email. He suddenly decided his desk was very messy. He started organizing his pens. Then he decided he needed another cup of coffee, even though his first cup was still full. He got up from his desk and walked to the kitchen. He was procrastinating. Procrastinating. This is a fantastic word, and it is very important for our story. To procrastinate means to delay or postpone doing something you should be doing, usually because you find it boring, or, in Ethan's case, because you find it difficult and scary. Let's practice saying it. Procrastinate. Procrastinating. Ethan was procrastinating. He was delaying the start of the project because he was afraid of it. While he was in the kitchen, making a new cup of coffee he did not need, his colleague Clara walked in. Clara was different from Ethan. She was friendly, energetic, and seemed to be afraid of nothing. She always had a big smile. "Hey, Ethan," she said cheerfully. "You look like you've seen a ghost. Is everything okay?" Ethan tried to smile. It was a weak smile. "Oh, hey, Clara. Yes, fine. Just, busy." Clara looked at him. She was very good at reading people. She could see that fine was not the truth. Just busy? Or is it, Mr. Davies gave me the kilo presentation? Busy. Ethan's eyes went wide. "How did you know?" Clara laughed. "He told me he was going to ask you. He's very excited. He thinks you have great ideas." She looked at Ethan's face, which was now even paler. "Oh, I see. You are not excited. You are terrified." Terrified. This is another word for very, very scared. It is stronger than afraid. Let's practice it. Terrified. Ethan was terrified. Why was he terrified? Because he had to give a big presentation. Ethan looked down at his coffee mug. I can't do it, Clara. I just can't. Public speaking? It's not for me. I freeze up. I make a fool of myself. I'm going to destroy this project. Here we see Ethan's fear controlling his language. He is using very strong negative words. I can't. Destroy. Fool. His fear is making him believe these things are 100% true. He is not giving himself any chance. Clara stopped smiling and looked at him kindly. She did not laugh at him. She did not say, "Don't be silly." She validated his feelings. To validate someone's feelings means to accept that their feelings are real and understandable. She said, "I understand. Public speaking is scary for a lot of people. It's one of the most common fears in the world. It's okay to feel afraid." Ethan looked up, a little surprised. He expected her to tell him to just do it. "Feeling fear is normal, Ethan," she continued. "The secret is not feeling fear. The secret is not letting that fear be the one making all the decisions you are afraid. Okay, so what? You are also smart. You are creative. And you know more about this client than anyone else." "But what if I fail?" Ethan whispered. "What if you succeed?" Clara asked gently. "What if you do a great job?" She paused. "Look, you are thinking about the presentation as one big, giant, scary thing. That's why you are paralyzed. Don't think about the final presentation in 2 weeks. That's too big. You need to break it down." This is a very important phrase, to break it down. It means to divide a large, difficult task into many smaller, easier, more manageable tasks. Manageable means something is possible to control or deal with. For example, a 1,000-page book is not manageable to read in one day. But 20 pages a day? That is manageable. Let's practice this idea. To break it down, Ethan needs to break down the big project. And the word manageable. Say it. Manageable. He needs to make the task manageable. Ethan was listening. He was still scared, but he was listening. "Break it down?" he asked. "What do you mean?" "I mean," said Clara, "what is the very first step? Not the whole presentation. Just the first, tiny, small step. Do you need to do research? Do you need to write down some ideas? What is step 1? Ethan thought for a moment. I guess I need to read the client's file again to see what they liked last year." "Great," said Clara. "That's it. That is your only job for the rest of the morning. Don't even think about the presentation. Don't think about Mr. Davies or the executive team. Just read the file. Can you do that? Can you read one file?" Ethan considered this. Just reading. He didn't have to talk to anyone. He didn't have to present. He just had to read. "Yes," he said, and his voice was a little stronger. "Yes, I can do that." "See?" Clara smiled. "You are already moving. You are not letting the fear control you. You are facing the challenge. You are just facing a very small piece of it. And that is how you build confidence." Confidence. This is our goal. This is the word we want to feel. Confidence is the feeling or belief that you can do something well or succeed at something. It is the opposite of Ethan's doubt and fear. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build. You build it by doing things. You build it by taking small, manageable steps, just like Clara suggested. So Ethan went back to his desk. His new coffee was in his hand. He sat down. His heart was still beating fast. The fear was still there. It did not magically disappear. Clara's words did not make the fear go away. But something had changed. The fear was still in the room, but it was no longer in the driver's seat. It was not controlling him. He had a plan. A very small plan. He opened the Kilo client file on his computer. He told himself, "I am just reading. That is all I am doing." He started to read. He read about their old projects. He read their feedback. He started to see what they liked. He saw a pattern. They liked bold, clear ideas. He took out a notebook and a pen. He wrote down one word: bold. Then he wrote another: clear. He worked for an hour, just reading and taking small notes. When he looked up at the clock, he was surprised. An hour had passed. He had not thought about the presentation. He had only thought about the client. And it was almost interesting. He had an idea. A small idea. But it was an idea. He wrote it down. This is the first step. This is how you face a challenge. You don't try to fight the whole dragon at once. You start by sharpening your sword. Or, in Ethan's case, by reading a file. Let's review what happened. Ethan was paralyzed by fear. Clara gave him advice. What was her advice? Was it, don't be afraid? Or was it, break the task down into small steps? Yes, she told him to break it down. And what was Ethan's first small step? It was to read the client's file. This seems simple, but it is very powerful. Many people fail because they only look at the top of the mountain. They get overwhelmed and they give up. To be overwhelmed means to have too much of something, like work or emotion, so that you cannot manage. Ethan was overwhelmed. Clara helped him to stop looking at the top of the mountain and just look at the first step on the path. The next day, Ethan had his meeting with Mr. Davies. He was nervous. Let's practice that word again. Nervous. But he was not terrified. He walked into Mr. Davies's office holding his notebook. "Ethan, come in," Mr. Davies said. "Are you excited about the Kilo presentation?" Ethan took a breath. He decided to be honest. Honest means truthful. He said, "To be honest, sir, I am very nervous. It is a huge challenge." Mr. Davies smiled a little. "It is. That's why I gave it to you. I believe you are ready for a challenge. I don't want you to just do what we did last year. I want new ideas. What are you thinking?" Because Ethan had done his first small step, reading the file, he had something to say. He was not empty-handed. "Well," Ethan said, "I was rereading their file yesterday. I notice they always respond well to ideas that are bold and clear. I have a small idea about a new digital campaign." He explained his idea. It was not a full presentation, just the beginning of a thought. Mr. Davies listened. He nodded. "That's a good start, Ethan. I like that word, bold. Explore that. Develop it. Let's see a first draft by Friday." A first draft. By Friday. Ethan's anxiety flared up again. A whole draft? Mr. Davies saw the look on his face. Not a final, perfect draft, Ethan. Just a draft. An outline. Something we can look at and talk about. I just want to see your thinking on paper. Break it down. What's the main message? What are the key points? Just that. It was the same advice Clara had given him. Break it down. Ethan nodded, feeling a little better. An outline. The main message and key points. Okay, I can do that. So, Ethan had his next set of manageable steps. His new challenge was not do the whole presentation. His new challenge was create an outline by Friday. This was still scary, but it was possible, it was achievable. He spent the next 2 days working hard, but he worked smart, too. Every time he felt that wave of panic, that "I can't do this" feeling, he would stop. He would take a deep breath, and he would ask himself Clara's question. What is the next small step? Sometimes the step was write 1 sentence for the introduction. Sometimes it was find 1 picture to use for this slide. Sometimes it was just get up and walk around the office for 2 minutes to clear my head. He was not fighting the fear. He was managing it. He was acknowledging it. To acknowledge means to accept or admit that something is real. He would say to himself, "Wow, I am feeling very scared, right time." And then he would say, "Okay, and what is the next small step I need to take?" This is a very important skill in life. We cannot control our feelings. Feelings just happen. You feel happy, you feel sad, you feel angry, you feel scared. But we can control our actions. Ethan was learning to feel the fear, but act anyway. He was learning to choose his actions instead of letting his fear choose them for him. By Friday, Ethan had an outline. It was not perfect. He knew it had problems. But it was a start. It was 10 pages long with his main ideas and the structure of the presentation. He felt a small, tiny feeling he had not felt before. It was pride. Pride is a feeling of satisfaction and pleasure in something you have done. He was proud that he had done it. He had not run away. He had not called in sick. He had faced the challenge. He sent the draft to Mr. Davies. And then he felt a new kind of fear. The fear of feedback. Feedback is information or criticism about how you are doing something. Ethan was worried. What if Mr. Davies hated it? What if he said it was all wrong? This is a very common fear, the fear of criticism. We are afraid that someone will tell us our work is not good. This fear can stop us from sharing our ideas, from asking for help, or from trying new things. Let's pause our story for a moment to practice. I just used 2 very important words, pride and feedback. Let's say pride. Ethan felt a sense of pride. When was the last time you felt pride in something you did? Maybe you finished a difficult English lesson. That is a wonderful reason to feel pride. Now, feedback. He was afraid of receiving feedback. Is feedback always bad? No. Good feedback can help us improve. It can help us get better. We often call this constructive criticism. Constructive means it is helpful and intended to build things up, not tear them down. Ethan's fear was telling him all feedback would be destructive. On Monday, Mr. Davies called Ethan into his office. The 10-page draft was on his desk. There were many red marks on it. Ethan's heart sank. Oh no, he thought. He hated it. I failed. Mr. Davies looked up. He did not look angry. He looked serious. Ethan, he said, thank you for this. This is a very good start. Ethan blinked. A good start? But all the red marks? Mr. Davies laughed. Ethan, the red marks are not a sign of failure. The red marks are a sign that I am engaged. I am interested. If this was terrible, I would just give it back and say, start over. But this is good. These ideas are strong. My notes are just to make it stronger, to make it clearer. This is called the process, my boy. This is how good work gets done. We start with an idea. We get feedback. We revise, and we make it better. Revise. This is a great vocabulary word. To revise means to re-examine and make corrections or changes to something. For example, you revise an essay, or you revise a plan. Let's practice it. Revise. Ethan needed to revise his draft. Mr. Davies was not angry. He was helping. This was constructive criticism. Ethan's fear had told him that red marks meant, "You are a failure." But the reality was that the red marks meant, "This is good. Let's make it great." This was a huge mindset shift for Ethan. A mindset is your way of thinking, your set of attitudes. Ethan's old mindset was, fear means stop. Criticism means failure. His new, developing mindset was, fear is just a feeling. Criticism is just information. It is part of the process. He and Mr. Davies spent an hour going through the draft. Mr. Davies asked him questions. Why did you put this here? What is the main message of this slide? He was not telling Ethan the answers. He was challenging Ethan to find them himself. And as they talked, Ethan's ideas became stronger. He felt more confident in them. He left the office an hour later. He was not scared. He was energized. He had a clear path. He knew what he needed to do. The fear was still there, a little bit, but it was very small now. The excitement was bigger. He was starting to believe what Clara had said. Maybe he could do this. The next week was all about work. Ethan revised his draft. He talked to Clara, and she gave him some ideas for the visual design of the slides he practiced his presentation. He did not just practice in his head. He stood up in an empty meeting room, and he said the words out loud. This is another important step in facing a fear like public speaking. You must practice. You must make it familiar. The first time he did it, his voice was shaky. He forgot his words. He felt silly. But he did it again, and a third time, and a fourth. Each time he practiced, it got a little easier. He learned which parts were difficult to say. He rewrote sentences to make them simpler and clearer. He was not just preparing a presentation, he was building his confidence. He was proving to himself, step by step, that he could do it. Let's think about this. Ethan is building confidence. How? He is not waiting to feel confident before he does the work. He is doing the work, and the confidence is the result. This is so important. Confidence is not the start. It is the reward you get after you do the hard thing. What was Ethan doing? He was practicing, let's say that word, practicing. He was practicing his presentation. How do you practice your English? Do you practice speaking out loud? It can feel silly, just like Ethan felt. But it is one of the best ways to build your confidence. You are training your mouth and your brain to work together. The day of the presentation arrived. It was 2 weeks after the first email. 2 weeks in which Ethan had gone from paralyzed by fear to, well, he was still nervous. Let's be honest. He woke up and his stomach felt tight. The butterflies were back. But something was different. As he put on his suit, he was not thinking, I am going to fail. He was thinking, I am prepared. He remembered his small steps. He remembered reading the file. He remembered writing the outline. He remembered the feedback from Mr. Davies. He remembered his practice sessions in the empty room. He had done the work. The fear was there, but his preparation was also there, and his preparation was stronger. He got to the office. The executive team was there. The clients were there. They were all sitting around a large, polished wooden table. Mr. Davies gave him a small nod of encouragement. Clara gave him a thumbs up from the back of the room. Ethan walked to the front of the room. He plugged in his computer. His hands were shaking. He took a deep breath. He looked up, and he started. Good morning, everyone, he said. His voice was a little shaky on the first word, but he kept going. My name is Ethan, and I am very excited to talk to you today about a new, bold direction for the kilo account. He started his first slide. He talked about the client's history. He talked about their successes. Then he moved to his new idea. He explained his reasoning just as he had practiced. He showed them the clear, simple slides that Clara had helped him design. About 10 minutes into the presentation, one of the clients, a serious-looking woman, held up her hand. "Excuse me," she said. "Can you go back one slide? I don't understand that number." This was it, the moment Ethan had feared. An unexpected question. A challenge. The old Ethan would have frozen. His mind would have gone blank. He would have stammered and apologized. But the new Ethan, the Ethan who had done the work. He paused. He took a breath. He looked at the slide. He looked at the woman. And he said, calmly, "That is an excellent question. Thank you for asking. That number represents..." And he explained it. He knew the answer. He knew the answer because he had done the research. He had prepared. He had not just memorized words. He understood his topic. The woman nodded. "I see. That makes sense. Thank you." And Ethan continued. A small thing happened, but it was everything. He had been challenged, and he had met the challenge, and a new feeling washed over him. It was not just pride. It was confidence. Real, earned confidence. He finished the presentation 20 minutes later. He ended with his final strong summary. "We believe this bold, clear approach will not only meet your goals, but exceed them. Thank you." The room was silent for a moment. Ethan's heart was pounding. Then, the lead client smiled. "Mr. Davies," the client said, "this was excellent. Exactly the kind of new thinking we were looking for. Ethan, that was a fantastic presentation. We are very impressed." People started to clap. Mr. Davies was beaming. Ethan felt his face turn red, but not from fear. It was from relief and pride. Later that day, Clara stopped by his desk. "So," she said, with a big smile, "how does it feel to be a public speaking superstar?" Ethan laughed. "I wouldn't say superstar, but it felt good. It really did. Thank you, Clara. Your advice, it changed everything." "I didn't do anything," Clara said. "I just reminded you of what you already knew. You were so focused on the one big, scary monster, you forgot that you could break it down into small, manageable pieces. You did the work, Ethan. You faced the challenge. You just needed to start. And that is the end of Ethan's story. But it is the beginning of our lesson. What did we learn from Ethan? We learned that fear is normal. Everyone feels it. Even confident-looking people like Clara feel fear sometimes. The problem is not the feeling of fear. The problem is when we let that feeling control our actions. Ethan was controlled by his fear. He procrastinated. He avoided. He believed his negative inner voice. His fear paralyzed him. So, how did he change? He changed by taking action, but not big, giant, scary action. He took small, manageable steps. This is the most important lesson from today. If you have a big challenge, a big fear, whether it is giving a presentation, or learning English, or moving to a new city, do not try to do it all at once. You will feel overwhelmed. You must break it down. What is the smallest possible step you can take? If your goal is learn English, that is too big. It's overwhelming. What is a manageable step? I will listen to one 10-minute English video today. That is manageable. I will learn 5 new vocabulary words today. That is manageable. I will practice saying, "Hello, how are you?" to one person. That is manageable. Ethan's first step was just reading a file. His second step was writing an outline. His third step was getting feedback. His fourth was revising. His fifth was practicing out loud. Notice something. He had a setback. When Mr. Davies gave him the draft with all the red marks, Ethan's first reaction was, "I failed." His fear came back. This is normal too. When you face a challenge, you will have setbacks. You will make mistakes. You will get criticism. The secret is to reframe it. A setback is not a failure. It is a part of the process. Feedback is not an attack. It is a gift. It is information you can use to get better. Ethan learned that the red marks were not a sign of failure, but a sign of engagement. He learned to revise. He learned resilience. Resilience. This is a powerful word. It means the ability to recover quickly from difficulties, the ability to bounce back after a setback. Ethan built resilience. He got negative feedback, he felt bad for a moment, and then he revised and made it better. He did not give up. So, the journey to confidence is not a straight line. It is a process. You feel the fear. This is normal. You break down the challenge into manageable steps. This is the plan. You take the first small step. This is the action. You practice and prepare. You face a setback or feedback. This is inevitable. You revise and show resilience. You don't give up. This is the hard part. You face the final challenge, feeling prepared. And then, you build confidence. Confidence is the result of this process. It is the reward for doing the scary thing. Ethan is not a different person. He is still Ethan. He will probably feel anxious again. But now, he has a new memory. He has the memory of succeeding. He has a tool. He knows the secret is to break it down and take action. Now, I want to talk to you, the listener. You are here to practice your English. That is your challenge. Maybe you feel like Ethan. Maybe you are afraid of making mistakes. Maybe you are overwhelmed by all the grammar, all the vocabulary. Don't let that fear control you. Let's break it down. Your challenge is not speak perfect English. Your challenge is practice for 15 minutes today. That is manageable. Your challenge is learn the words from this video. Let's review the key vocabulary we learned today. I want you to say them with me. Anxious, feeling worried and nervous. Ethan was anxious about the presentation. Dread, a deep feeling of fear. He felt dread when he saw the email. Paralyzed, unable to move or act. Fear paralyzed him. Avoid, to stay away from. He tried to avoid the project. Procrastinate, to delay something you need to do. He procrastinated by getting coffee. Terrified, very, very scared. He was terrified of public speaking. Validate, to accept feelings as real. Clara validated his feelings. Break it down, to divide a big task into small tasks. She told him to break it down. Manageable, possible to deal with. He needed small, manageable steps. Confidence, the belief you can succeed. He built his confidence step by step. Overwhelmed, feeling too much pressure. He was overwhelmed by the big task. Honest, truthful. He was honest with his boss about his fear. Achievable, possible to do. An outline by Friday was achievable. Pride, satisfaction in your work. He felt pride in his finished draft. Feedback, criticism or information for improvement. He was afraid of feedback. Constructive criticism, feedback that helps you improve. Mr. Davies gave him constructive criticism. Revise, to make changes and corrections. He had to revise his presentation. Practice, to do something repeatedly to get better. He practiced his speech out loud. Mindset shift, a change in your way of thinking. Ethan had a big mindset shift. Resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks. He showed resilience by not giving up. These are wonderful, powerful words. You can use them to describe your own life, your own challenges, and your own successes. So, here is your call to action. My challenge to you. First, if you found this story and this lesson helpful, please show your support. You can like this video, and you can subscribe to our channel, English in Fluency. It helps us know that we are making content that is useful for you. Second, I want you to practice. I want you to be like Ethan. But your challenge is not a presentation. Your challenge is in the comments section below. I want you to write a comment, but I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to break it down. Step 1. Think of a big challenge in your life. It could be learning English, finding a new job, or anything. Step 2. Think of one small, manageable step you can take this week to face that challenge. Step 3. Write it in the comments. You can write something like, "My challenge is speaking English. My small step is to practice saying 5 new sentences out loud every day." Or, "My challenge is finding a new job. My small step is to update my resume for 30 minutes. Do not worry about perfect grammar. Do not be afraid of making a mistake. This is a safe place to practice. This is your empty meeting room. By writing your small step, you are making a promise to yourself. You are taking your first action. You are proving that you will not let fear control you. Thank you so much for listening today. You have just completed a long B1 listening practice. You should feel pride in that. That was your manageable step for today, and you did it. My name is Alex, and this is English in Fluency. Remember, every big journey starts with one small step. Don't let fear make the decisions. You are stronger than you think. I will see you in the next lesson. Goodbye for now.